After the death of his beloved Isabella, Connor finds himself immersed in profound grief. Meanwhile, his premature son David fights for his life in the hospital. The dedicated nurse Susan becomes a loving presence in the little baby's life, while Connor seeks solace in the memories shared with Isabella. A story of love, overcoming obstacles, and the discovery of a new purpose that will change their lives forever. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is the Linda's Stories channel. I hope you enjoy this story. Isabella was a dreamer and fearless woman whose heart yearned for new experiences. She had an overwhelming passion for sports and travel, and her determination was unwavering. Even when she couldn't convince any friends to accompany her on her journeys, Isabella didn't hesitate to venture alone around the world, eager to discover the unknown. It was on one of these trips in an exotic and distant country that fate crossed her path with Connor's. They shared a mutual passion for always being on the move, constantly challenging themselves and seeking new adventures to feed their restless souls. Connor was a free spirit, with a charming smile and deep gaze that revealed an insatiable thirst for life. Together, Isabella and Connor plunged into a whirlwind of experiences, exploring unknown places, participating in extreme activities and sharing unforgettable moments. In the lives of Isabella and Connor, each day was a new opportunity to capture the beauty of the world through their lenses. Connor's work as a photographer took him to exotic and exciting places, always in search of the next stunning scenery. Inspired by her beloved, Isabella dove headfirst into this profession, forming an unbeatable duo. Their photographs were so powerful that they caught the attention of the country's leading publications. Renowned magazines and newspapers featured their images on their pages, celebrating the sensitivity and unique vision of Isabella and Connor. While living this dream life, the love between them also blossomed. The joint work created an even deeper connection, fueled by shared passion and mutual admiration. Together, they explored every corner of the world, immortalizing magical moments in their photos and creating everlasting memories. The years flew by as Isabella and Connor passionately dedicated themselves to their careers and the pursuit of new adventures. With their lives filled with travels and professional commitments, the thought of having children was constantly postponed. The desire to start a family was present in their hearts, but the lack of stability and time to fully dedicate themselves to this responsibility made them delay the decision. However, as time passed, a subtle change began to occur within them. Although their careers and passion for work remained a fundamental part of their lives, they started to feel a deeper calling. It was during a trip, in a moment of rest and reflection, that Isabella and Connor shared their most intimate desires. They expressed the love they had for each other and how they wished to expand this connection by creating a new life together. When Isabella and Connor finally decided it was the right time to embark on the journey of having a child, they confronted an inevitable reality. Time had passed, and Isabella was no longer a young woman. After months of unsuccessful attempts to conceive naturally, Isabella and Connor decided to seek specialized medical help. Understanding the importance of professional guidance, they consulted a fertility specialist to evaluate the situation. The following months were filled with anticipation and emotion as Isabella and Connor continued their efforts with the treatment. Then, finally, the news they had been waiting for arrived. The pregnancy test showed a positive result. In a moment of pure joy and emotion, Isabella and Connor embraced each other, tears of happiness streaming down their faces. They celebrated the news with laughter, tight hugs, and more tears of joy. With each ultrasound, Isabella and Connor witnessed the miracle of life unfolding before their eyes. They were enchanted by each image of the developing baby, seeing its growth and development week by week. As they watched the little being moving on the ultrasound screens, Isabella and Connor felt a deep and inexplicable connection with their unborn child. The love they felt for each other multiplied, overflowing towards their precious baby. They shared dreams and plans for the future. They talked about the kind of parents they wanted to be, the lessons they wished to impart, and the values they hoped to teach their child. These special moments drew them even closer, solidifying the love and partnership that made them a family. When they received the news that Isabella was pregnant with a boy, they immediately knew the baby would be named David. From that moment on, Isabella and Connor began to lovingly refer to the baby in her belly as David. They talked to him, caressed her belly, and shared their dreams and expectations for the future. When a bleeding followed by severe pain occurred, Isabella and Connor panicked and immediately rushed to the hospital, even though there were still 2 months left until David's expected due date. Upon arriving at the hospital, the medical team quickly assessed the situation and confirmed that labor had begun prematurely. Isabella was taken to the delivery room, where a team of healthcare professionals was ready. During the delivery, unexpected complications arose, putting both Isabella's and David's lives at risk. The medical team fought to manage the situation, taking every possible measure to ensure a safe outcome. Connor was not allowed into the delivery room due to the complexity of the case. Every minute felt like an eternity, and he felt helpless for not being able to be by Isabella's side during this crucial moment. The waiting room was filled with anxiety, with other family members awaiting news about their loved ones. Connor exchanged nervous glances with the other parents and partners, sharing the silent anguish that everyone was facing. Finally, after a long wait, a doctor approached Connor with sorrow in his eyes. With a voice choked with emotion, the doctor informed Connor that little David had been born prematurely and was being cared for in the neonatal intensive care unit. However, the doctor did not stop there, and his next words were like a punch in the gut for Connor. With a tone of profound sadness, he informed him that Isabella, due to complications during childbirth, had unfortunately passed away. An intense shock coursed through Connor's entire body. He found himself without ground, unable to fully comprehend the gravity of this devastating loss. Tears started streaming down his face as the news settled into his heart, leaving him shaken and helpless. As the tears continued to flow, Connor struggled to accept the fact that he had lost his beloved Isabella, the woman with whom he had shared so many dreams and special moments. The future they had imagined together was abruptly cut short, leaving him with an inexplicable void. After informing Connor about David's prematurity and Isabella's passing, the doctor offered him the opportunity to see his newborn in the intensive care unit. However, Connor, still engulfed in his pain and shaken by the devastating news, did not have the strength to face that moment. The doctor's words seemed distant and blurred as Connor tried to process the reality of what had happened. His heart was broken, and he felt emotionally drained, incapable of mustering the strength needed to confront the reality of losing Isabella and dealing with the sight of his premature son fighting for life. In the days following Isabella's loss, Connor faced the painful process of burying his beloved. He found himself enveloped in a fog of sadness and disbelief, as the reality that all the dreams they had shared would not come to fruition began to settle in. As Connor grappled with the grieving process and navigated the complex emotions that came with it, little David fought for his life alone in the neonatal intensive care unit. David's presence, so small and vulnerable, was a constant reminder of the pain and loss that Connor was experiencing. He was overwhelmed by the conflicting emotions of love for his son and the overpowering pain of losing Isabella. Connor felt helpless and unable to approach David at that moment. In the hospital, the experienced nurse Susan played a crucial role in the delivery room when Isabella gave birth to David. She witnessed the tense moments and the doctor's tireless efforts to save the lives of both Isabella and her precious baby. As Susan assisted in Isabella's delivery and observed the medical team's efforts, something within her awakened an immense empathy for David. She noticed the fragility of that tiny child, so premature and already fighting a battle for life. Susan noticed that the tiny newborn wasn't receiving any visitors. Feeling immense empathy for that fragile and brave child, she felt her maternal instinct awaken within her. Despite her responsibilities and the busyness of the neonatal unit, Susan found time to dedicate to David. She understood the importance of touch and human connection during those crucial moments. With maternal care and attention, she spoke to David, touched his delicate little feet and hands, conveying love and comfort to the little fighter. Susan knew that even in the incubator, David could feel the presence and love around him. She shared gentle stories, whispered words of encouragement, and conveyed a sense of security and care to the tiny baby. Susan's constant presence became a ray of hope amidst the uncertainty surrounding David's life. As the days passed, the connection between Susan and little David grew stronger each day. The nurse felt a deep love for that brave and fragile baby, and her commitment to his care went beyond her professional responsibilities. Susan gave up her breaks and meal times to be by David's side. She couldn't resist the need to be present, offering him comfort and affection during his stay in the neonatal intensive care unit. Susan's devotion to David did not go unnoticed by other members of the medical team and the families of other patients. Her dedication inspired and touched the hearts of everyone who witnessed her special relationship with the little fighter. Every small progress achieved by David was a cause for great celebration for Susan. She closely followed each step of his development and rejoiced in every milestone he reached. When David managed to breathe without the help of machines, Susan beamed and shared the news with her colleagues. Every weight gain, no matter how small, was received with enthusiasm, as it represented a step towards his health and growth. While David continued his recovery journey in the hospital, Connor found himself immersed in his deep grief. He sought solace in memories of Isabella and photographs of their travels together. For hours and hours, Connor delved into the recollections captured by the images, immersing himself in the journey of shared love between him and Isabella. Each photograph carried a story, a unique moment lived by the two of them. Connor scanned each image with his eyes, reliving the adventures, the smiles, and the passionate embraces they shared over the years. These photographs had become a haven, a portal to a time when everything seemed possible, and their lives were full of promise. These moments of immersion in memories were a balm for Connor's pain, allowing him to connect with Isabella's presence, even if only in recollections. Through these photographs, Connor could feel the energy of their love and the intensity of the moments they spent together. One day, Connor found himself enveloped in a dream so vivid, it felt real. In his dream, he was transported to a magical setting where Isabella, his beloved, stood by his side. She gently took his hand, and together they began to walk through places that had been sources of inspiration for their photographs. As they explored these enchanting scenes, Isabella and Connor reminisced about the happy memories they shared in those places. Each step was a journey through time, rekindling the flame of passion and love that bound them together. They conversed as if they were reliving those moments, laughing at their mischief and embracing each other tenderly. At the end of this walk through the past, Connor and Isabella returned to their home. They entered the room they had lovingly prepared for David, their long-awaited son. The decoration reflected the love and anticipation they had in welcoming this little being into their lives. With an affectionate smile, Isabella embraced Connor and gently said, "Go get our son, he needs you." Those words echoed in Connor's mind and touched him deeply. It was as if Isabella, through the dream, was conveying the message that it was time for Connor to overcome his grief and embrace the role of father to David. The dream left Connor with a sense of peace and renewed purpose. He felt strengthened by Isabella's presence in his dream, as if she were guiding him towards his future and the care of their son. That very day, Connor rushed to the hospital, determined to make up for the time he had lost with his son. He felt an overwhelming urge to be by David's side, to get to know the little being who represented the continuation of the love he had shared with Isabella. As Connor entered the neonatal unit, his heart began to race. His eyes frantically searched for the incubator where David was carefully protected, and then, for the first time, their gazes met. The sight of David filled Connor with intense emotion. Every feature of the baby's face, every delicate detail, seemed to be a perfect reflection of Isabella. His large brown eyes, the tiny upturned nose, the shape of his mouth. Everything was a living reminder of the woman Connor loved so dearly. As he held David for the first time, Connor felt a deep connection form instantly. He was amazed by the fragility and strength combined in that tiny being. The love Connor felt for Isabella overflowed in his heart and extended to envelop David in an embrace full of tenderness. Connor gently caressed the baby's face, as if seeking to trace an invisible line connecting David to Isabella. He realized that this moment was a precious gift, an opportunity to build a new story of love and care with his son. As Connor held David close to his chest, he felt the power of life, the continuous cycle of love and hope that persists even in the face of loss. He knew the journey would be challenging, but he was determined to face each obstacle with courage and dedication. Witnessing the emotional moment when Connor and David finally met, Susan felt her heart overflow with joy and contentment. She knew her role in the life of that little baby had been fulfilled. For now, Connor would take on the role of father and be the source of strength and care that David needed to face life's challenges. Susan had closely accompanied David's journey, offering him her love, care and support during the times when Connor was still struggling to find his own strength. She became a constant presence in David's life, conveying affection and providing a nurturing environment as he fought for his life in the neonatal unit. Susan knew that, although her path and little David's might not cross again in the future, she had successfully completed her mission. Her dedication and care had helped pave the way for the father-son relationship to strengthen and flourish. With a serene smile on her lips, Susan left the room, carrying with her the certainty that David was in the right place, surrounded by his father's love. She was grateful to have played a significant role in the life of that small family, and her heart was full of hope for the bright future that awaited David. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.